I was standing at the gas station counter when the cashier handed me back my wife's credit card with a confused look. "Sir, this card was just used 10 minutes ago at the supplement store next door." My stomach dropped. The card was supposed to be with Claire, my wife of 8 years, who'd left for the gym an hour ago. I grabbed the receipt he offered and stared at the signature. Aiden Cross. Her personal trainer. The same guy she'd been raving about for 3 months. My hand started shaking as I realized something was very wrong. The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead as I stood there frozen, holding that receipt like it was evidence in a crime scene. Which, in a way, it was. Aiden had purchased $340 worth of protein powder and pre-workout supplements. With my wife's card. The card that was supposed to be in her gym bag, which was supposed to be with her at Platinum Fitness across town. The cashier was still watching me, probably wondering why I looked like I'd seen a ghost. I mumbled something about fraud and walked out, my mind racing through every conversation Claire and I had over the past few months. All those late nights. All those extra gym sessions. All those times she came home glowing, talking about her progress. I sat in my truck and pulled out my phone with trembling fingers. Claire answered on the third ring, her voice breathy and strained. "Hey babe, can't talk long. I'm in the middle of a brutal set." I could hear music pounding in the background, the clang of weights, the echo that gyms always have. Everything sounded exactly right. Everything looked exactly wrong. "Just checking in," I said, keeping my voice steady. "How much longer are you going to be?" She laughed, that familiar sound that used to make my chest warm. "Probably another hour. Aiden's really pushing me today." "Aiden." I closed my eyes. "Sounds intense. Love you." After she hung up, I opened our shared fitness app, the one we downloaded together when we both decided to get healthier last year. The little blue dot on my screen showed Claire's location. She wasn't at Platinum Fitness. She was 7 miles away at the Riverside Inn, a hotel near the waterfront that charged $200 a night for rooms with a view. My throat went dry. I took a screenshot, my hand somehow steadier now that I had proof. The shock was wearing off, replaced by something colder and sharper. I started the truck and drove toward the gym anyway, needing to see it with my own eyes. The parking lot was half full when I arrived. Claire's silver Honda wasn't there. I pulled into a spot with a view of the entrance and waited, watching trainers and clients come and go. Then I saw him. Aiden Cross looked exactly like his Instagram photos, tall, muscular, wearing a tank top that showed off arms covered in tribal tattoos. He was loading gym bags into the trunk of a black Dodge Challenger. Then I saw it. Claire's purple duffel bag, the one with her initials stitched on the side, the one I bought her for Christmas. My vision went red for a second. I gripped the steering wheel until my knuckles turned white. Aiden must have felt someone watching because he looked up and locked eyes with me. For 3 seconds, we just stared at each other across that parking lot. Then he slammed his trunk shut, jumped in his car, and peeled out of the lot so fast his tires squealed. That night, Claire came home at 8:47 p.m., her hair damp from shower, wearing yoga pants and a hoodie. She kissed my cheek like nothing was wrong. "Good workout?" I asked from the couch. "Amazing," she said, dropping her bag by the door. Aiden introduced me to this new supplement routine. It's supposed to help with muscle recovery. I nodded slowly. "Funny thing happened today. The gas station guy said your card was used at the supplement store by someone named Aiden." Claire's eyes went wide for just a second before she laughed. "Oh my God, yeah. He needed to grab some stuff for the gym, and I let him borrow it. His card was declined or something." Her voice was light, casual, and convincing. I wanted to believe her. God, I wanted to believe her so badly. But that night, I couldn't sleep. I lay there in the dark, listening to Claire breathe beside me, feeling the space between us like a canyon. At 2 a.m., I gave up and went to the kitchen. I opened our banking app on my phone and started scrolling through charges. There, the Riverside Inn, $218.50, charged 3 days ago. Another charge from 2 weeks before that. Same hotel, same amount. I kept scrolling. 6 charges total over the past 2 months, all on days Claire had supposedly been at the gym. My hand was shaking again as I screenshot each one. I was building a case, though I didn't know against what yet. The next morning, I found something else. A gym membership invoice in our email, sent to my address by mistake. It showed that Claire had added a secondary member to our family membership 3 months ago, Aiden Cross. She'd given him full access to all the facilities, using my credit card to pay the extra $85 monthly fee. I sat at my desk staring at that invoice, understanding settling over me like cold water. This wasn't casual. This was planned. This was deliberate. Claire had integrated this man into our life, into our finances, and I've been too stupid or too trusting to notice. I forwarded the invoice to my personal email, adding it to my growing collection of evidence. That evening, while Claire was in the shower, I did something I'd never done before. I went through her shared laptop, the one we use for bills and photos and everyday life. In the Documents folder, buried 3 layers deep, I found a folder labeled Workout Progress. My finger hovered over it for 10 seconds before I clicked. Inside were photos. Lots of photos. Claire and Aiden at restaurants I'd never been to. Claire and Aiden on a boat I didn't recognize. Claire and Aiden in hotel rooms, her hand on his chest, both of them laughing. There were videos too. I clicked on one, my stomach in knots. It was shot in a hotel room, Claire talking to the camera. "He'll never find out," she said, grinning. Nate's too busy with work to notice anything. I closed the laptop before I did something I'd regret, like smash it against the wall. My heart was pounding so hard I thought it might explode. I heard the shower turn off upstairs. 5 minutes later, Claire came down wearing my old college sweatshirt, her hair wrapped in a towel. "You okay?" she asked. "You look pale." I forced a smile. "Just tired. Long day at work." She kissed my forehead. "You work too hard, babe. Maybe you should come to the gym with me sometime." The audacity of it almost made me laugh. Instead, I nodded. "Maybe I will." After she went to bed, I sat in the dark living room and called my old college friend Marcus. He was a divorce attorney now, successful and ruthless. "I need your help," I said when he answered. Marcus listened to everything without interrupting. When I finished, he was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "Don't confront her yet. Document everything. Get more evidence. Quiet revenge is the best revenge, Nate. Let her keep thinking she's getting away with it." His words settled something inside me. This wasn't about rage anymore. This was about strategy. "What do I do?" I asked. "Be normal," Marcus said. "Be the husband she thinks you are. Meanwhile, protect your assets and gather proof. When this goes to court, we're going to bury her." After I hung up, I felt calmer than I had in days. I had a plan now. I wasn't just a victim anymore. I was preparing for war. The next morning, I helped Claire pack her gym bag like I'd done 100 times before. I handed her water bottle, her headphones, her protein shake. She smiled at me, kissed me goodbye, and walked out the door with no idea what was coming. After her car disappeared down the street, I went to my toolbox and pulled out a small GPS tracker I'd bought online the night before. It was designed for tracking luggage, but it would work just fine for this. That evening, when Claire was in the shower again, I went to her car and attached the tracker to the underside of her rear bumper. It was magnetic and waterproof, completely invisible unless you knew where to look. I activated it on my phone and went back inside, my heart pounding with guilt and determination in equal measure. 2 days later, the tracker pinged. Claire was supposed to be at the gym for her regular 6 p.m. session. Instead, she was at the Riverside Inn again. I stared at the little dot on my phone screen, feeling weirdly calm. I grabbed my keys and drove across town. The hotel was nicer than I expected. Modern, expensive, the kind of place you take someone you want to impress. I walked up to the front desk and asked for a room. "Do you have anything on the 3rd floor?" I asked. The clerk checked his computer. "Room 312 is available." Perfect. I'd watched Claire's to settle into room 314. I paid cash, took my key, and headed upstairs. My room was 2 doors down from hers, close enough to hear everything through the walls. I sat on the edge of the bed in room 312 and pressed my ear against the wall. At first, nothing. Then I heard it. Laughter. Claire's laugh, the one she used to save for me. Then a man's voice, deep and smug. "He's really that clueless?" Aiden asked. More laughter. "Completely," Claire said. "He thinks I'm actually getting in shape for him." My stomach turned. I pulled out my phone and started recording. I got her voice, his voice, the sound of the TV in the background. I photographed the hotel check-in record on my phone app, showing room 314 registered to Aiden Cross. I took a picture of her car in the parking lot, license plate clearly visible. Every piece of evidence carefully documented. After 2 hours, I left and drove home, arriving before Claire did. She walked in at 10 p.m., glowing and energized. "Sorry I'm late," she said. "Aiden had me doing this insane HIIT workout. I'm exhausted, but it feels so good." I nodded from the couch, keeping my face neutral. "Sounds intense." She sat next to me and curled into my side, and I had to force myself not to pull away. "We should talk tomorrow," I said quietly. She looked up at me, confused. "About what?" I smiled, cold and empty. "Just some stuff. Nothing urgent." She shrugged and went upstairs to bed. I stayed on the couch, staring at the ceiling, planning my next move. Tomorrow was her birthday. I already had her gift picked out. The next morning, I transferred $47,000 from our joint savings account into a personal account I'd opened at a different bank. It was exactly half of what we'd saved together, minus the money she'd spent on hotel rooms and supplements for her boyfriend. I also contacted our mortgage lender. Our house was in both names, but I've been paying 90% of the mortgage for 8 years while Claire worked part-time at a boutique. Marcus had already prepared the paperwork to prove it. By noon, I'd secured my assets. By 2 p.m., I'd wrapped Claire's birthday present, a brand new gym bag, identical to the one Aiden had been loading into his trunk. Inside the bag, I'd placed printouts of every hotel receipt, every bank transaction, every photo from the laptop folder, and a copy of the gym membership showing Aiden as a secondary member. Claire came home at 6 p.m., excited and dressed up for her birthday dinner. I'd made reservations at her favorite Italian restaurant, the one where we'd had our first date. "Let me give you your present first," I said, handing her the wrapped gym bag. She laughed. "You got me another gym bag?" "Babe, I already have one." "Open it," I said quietly. She tore off the paper and unzipped the bag. Her face went from confused to pale to panicked in about 5 seconds. She pulled out a stack of papers, her hand shaking. Hotel receipts, bank statements, photos of her and Aiden, the membership invoice, everything. What is this?" she whispered. "You tell me," I said, my voice ice cold. "You followed me?" she screamed suddenly, rage replacing shock. "You invaded my privacy? You spied on me. You spent my money on hotel rooms with your trainer," I said, standing up. "You used my credit card to buy supplements for your boyfriend. You added him to our gym membership without asking me. You made a fool of me for 3 months while everyone else probably knew." Claire threw the folder across the room, papers scattering everywhere. "This is insane. You're paranoid. Aiden is just my trainer." "I have video of you in a hotel room," I said quietly. "I have recordings of you laughing about how clueless I am. I have everything, Claire. Don't lie to me anymore." She stared at me, chest heaving, mascara starting to run. "So what now?" she asked. "Now you deal with consequences," I said. I pulled out my phone and showed her the email I'd sent to the credit card company that morning, disputing every charge Aiden had made. I reported fraud. They're investigating. Aiden's accounts are frozen. Claire's phone started buzzing in her purse. She grabbed it and stared at the screen, her face going even paler. "What did you do?" she whispered. I smiled, no warmth in it. I told the truth. Aiden used a stolen credit card to make fraudulent purchases. The bank takes that seriously. Her phone kept buzzing. Text after text from Aiden, each one more furious than the last. I could see them lighting up her screen. "What did you tell them?" "They froze everything. This is your fault." Claire looked at me with something like fear. "Nate, please. Don't do this. We can fix this." "We're done fixing anything," I said. I grabbed my keys and walked toward the door. "I'm staying at Marcus's place. Don't call me. Don't text me. My lawyer will be in touch." I left her standing in our living room, surrounded by evidence of her betrayal, and I didn't look back. Marcus let me stay in his guest room while everything unfolded. The next day, I had the utilities transferred into my name only. I canceled Claire's credit cards. I changed all my passwords. Marcus filed for divorce that same afternoon, citing irreconcilable differences and marital fraud. The papers were served to Claire at her work in front of her co-workers and customers. Her mother called me that night, screaming about humiliation and cruelty. I hung up without responding. 2 days later, Aiden's gym membership was permanently revoked. The fitness club had a strict policy about using other members' accounts. When they reviewed the security footage and saw Aiden signing in under my membership dozens of times, they canceled his access and banned him from all their locations. A week after that, Aiden's business collapsed. His personal training certification was suspended while the fraud investigation continued. His clients left in droves after word spread through the tight-knit fitness community. Someone had posted the whole story on a local business forum, complete with screenshots of receipts and hotel records. I didn't post it, but I didn't exactly stop it from spreading either. Aiden left me a voicemail at 2 a.m., drunk and furious. "You ruined my life over a woman. She wasn't even yours anymore. You destroyed everything because you couldn't handle that she wanted someone better." I deleted it without responding. Marcus said it was good evidence of harassment, just in case we needed it later. The court date was set for 6 weeks out. During those 6 weeks, Claire tried everything. She sent apologetic texts that I didn't read. She showed up at my office, and security escorted her out. She posted vague messages on social media about betrayal and judgment, but no one commented. Our mutual friends had heard the full story by then. Most of them chose sides, and most of them didn't choose hers. I focused on work, on therapy, on rebuilding the parts of myself that felt shattered. My therapist said I was processing grief and anger in a healthy way, that documenting everything instead of lashing out showed remarkable self-control. I didn't feel controlled. I felt cold. But maybe that was okay for now. The divorce hearing was scheduled for October 15th at 9 a.m. I wore my best suit and sat next to Marcus at a long table in the courthouse. Claire sat across from us with a court-appointed attorney she'd gotten for free because she'd already spent all her money on a failed defense. Her lawyer tried to argue that I'd violated her privacy and that the evidence was inadmissible. The judge disagreed. Every piece of documentation I'd gathered was legal and relevant. Marcus presented the hotel receipts, the bank statements, the photos, the recordings, and the gym membership fraud. It took 45 minutes to lay out the entire case. Claire cried through most of it, her mascara running, her shoulders shaking. The judge looked at her with something close to disgust. When it was over, I was awarded 80% of our marital assets and full ownership of the house. Claire was ordered to repay me $23,000 for fraudulent charges and misuse of funds. She had 6 months to pay or face wage garnishment. The judge also ordered her to cover half the court costs. When we walked out of that courthouse, Marcus clapped me on the shoulder. "You did good, man." She got exactly what she deserved. I nodded, but I didn't feel victorious. I just felt tired. That night, I went back to the house that was finally mine alone. I walked through empty rooms that echoed with memories of better times. I stood in the kitchen where we'd cooked together, in the living room where we'd watched movies, in the bedroom where we'd built a life. It was over. All of it. And I was still standing. A month later, I was at the gym, a real gym this time, working on actually getting healthy instead of pretending. A trainer I didn't know approached me carefully. "Hey, aren't you Nate? The guy from that podcast?" I blinked, confused. "What podcast?" He pulled out his phone and showed me. Apparently, a local true crime and justice podcast had covered my story after getting permission from the court records. They kept my name anonymous, but included enough details that people who knew me recognized it. The episode was titled "Receipts Don't Lie: How One Man Documented His Way to Justice." It had 340,000 downloads. The comment section was full of people sharing their own betrayal stories, thanking the host for covering it, calling me a hero for staying calm and strategic. I listened to the episode that night, hearing a stranger narrate the worst months of my life with professional detachment. It was surreal and uncomfortable and somehow cathartic. The next day, a literary agent emailed me through the podcast host, asking if I'd ever considered writing a book about my experience. I almost deleted the email. Then I thought about all those people in the comment section, all those strangers who'd been betrayed and gaslit and made to feel crazy. Maybe my story could help them. Maybe turning pain into purpose was better than letting it turn into bitterness. 6 months later, I signed a book deal. A year after that, I stood in my new house, smaller but entirely mine, and I felt something I hadn't felt in years: peace. Claire sent me one final email. "You made me look like a monster." I replied with a single sentence: "You did that yourself." Then I blocked her and moved forward. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't destruction, it's documentation. Sometimes winning means staying calm, gathering evidence, and letting the truth speak for itself. And sometimes, the worst betrayal becomes the beginning of something better. Not immediately, not easily, but eventually. I was proof of that.